Kyrie Irving. We're still waiting on the Brooklyn Nets to trade Kyrie to the Los Angeles Lakers because that seems to be the only destination in which Kyrie Irving can go to. But as of now, there's still nothing. Except for a couple new updates. Now, based on reports that have recently came out, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets are operating on the assumption that they will be with the team next season. Now, there are reports that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant will sit down and talk this week and figure out what they want to do and potentially ride out this season and then make their decision next season. Kyrie Irving likely signing with the Lakers and then Kevin Durant looking for a trade to explore. The Brooklyn Nets are also not going to trade Kevin Durant unless a team meets their asking price. Now, they have an asking price, which is an all-star plus multiple first-round picks. I'd imagine draft swaps, stuff like that. I mean, look at what Rudy Gobert got in a trade. Imagine what Kevin Durant would get back. So the Brooklyn Nets, they want something of substance because they can't afford to tank. They have to try to compete as much as possible in the upcoming season and the seasons going forward because they don't have any draft picks for the future. So it makes no sense for them. So they need something that will keep them competitive. Now, there's also the possibility of them trading Ben Simmons and try to, regroup. And now that opens the door for guys like Bam Adebayo and all these guys on rookie extensions to maybe open the door for a Kevin Durant trade. But they're not going to trade Ben Simmons unless they have an offer that would be with one of them. So say the Miami Heat are like, yeah, we'll trade you Bam Adebayo to get Kevin Durant. Then they would start exploring trades for Ben Simmons. And when it comes to Kevin Durant, they don't need to rush. Kyrie Irving, he could be the headache. He could be the problem. He's the one that you'd imagine that Brooklyn wants to get rid of. But their hope is that if Kevin Durant stays for the year, that he would stay as well. They can compete, see how it goes. If you win a championship, maybe you can convince them both to stay. They're playing on hope. And this is also a leverage play. They don't want to come out and say we're desperate to trade them. They're coming out and saying we will hold them as long as need be until we get a trade that we want. And the hope is that a team gets desperate enough and says, we need Kevin Durant, we want Kevin Durant, a bidding war starts, and then one of these teams finally cave, give the Nets their asking price, and then they get Kevin Durant. Because it's better to have Kevin Durant for 4 years than 3 years. Not just that, but if you're going in a training camp, you want Kevin Durant on your team because you want to be able to integrate him into your offense, into your team, into your system, all of those things. If you, say, trade him at the trade deadline, yeah, he's still going to be extremely impactful, but likely not as much as he would be if he started the season with you. So that's the hope the Brooklyn Nets are trying to get out of this. Let's play hardball. Let's play the patient game. Let's play the waiting game, which for Kevin Durant, they can't. Like I said, Kyrie Irving could be the headache. And Kevin Durant, he's likely not the person that would sit all year. He would still play for Brooklyn even if they didn't trade him. Kyrie, he's the guy that would sit and say, I'm not playing for you. I'm not going to risk getting hurt, and now I don't get a max contract or whatever. I wanted you to trade me, and you won't trade me. You won't resign. Kyrie Irving's the guy that wouldn't play. So he's the one you'd imagine that they'd want to get rid of immediately. But Kevin Durant, they can wait on. That also means that the likelihood of a Kyrie trade likely doesn't happen until Kevin Durant is traded. I don't think that they're likely going, based on all these reports. And again, all of these reports seem to be coming from the Brooklyn Nets side, none from the Lakers side or anybody else, which Brooklyn's trying to gain leverage. It would make sense they would want to put this stuff out there. So I imagine that their hope is to trade Kevin Durant, get back the pieces, and then that justifies, okay, at that point, we can take what the Lakers are offering. Let's take that. If they can't trade Kevin Durant and no one meets their asking price, then it looks like, why don't we just keep Kyrie for this year? Yeah, we're going to likely lose him for nothing, but we're not going to get that much in return anyway, so let it go. That's kind of how Brooklyn is trying to play this. But the Lakers do have a plan B, and the plan B, which I've talked about in a previous video, so I'll just briefly go over that. If you want to know the full plan B, I'll link that down in the description. But the Lakers, if they can't acquire Kyrie this offseason, their goal is to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. How are they going to make that happen? Who knows? I don't even know if it's a real possibility, but that's their plan B. Their hope is to get Miles Turner and Buddy Hield because they would be able to keep the cap flexibility and you get a lethal shooter, you get a big man that can play next to Anthony Davis, can also play when Anthony Davis doesn't play, because Anthony Davis is likely going to miss 20 plus games. So that's their plan B as of right now, at least based on reports. So if they can't get Kyrie, maybe they shift this direction. The problem is that Kyrie is coming eventually. So you need to keep the cap flexibility in order to sign Kyrie and LeBron James next season. Plus, if you were to get a Miles Turner, he's a free agent too. So do you really want to trade for him for nothing and then just lose him? So it could get tricky. It could get complicated, depending on how long the Brooklyn Nets ride this out. The Lakers' best interest is to just be patient. And I know, believe me, from my standpoint, from most of the fan standpoints, most of the NBA fan standpoint, just get this over with. Let's just be done and move on, why are we dragging this out? You're trading Kyrie. Kyrie's going to the Lakers at some point, so just get it over. Better to get something than nothing. But the Lakers just need to be patient. They need to stick to their asking price. Kevin Durant, he's likely going to go somewhere. There's going to be a team that's going to cave and give the Brooklyn Nets their asking price, because it's not so extravagant and so unbelievable. Kevin Durant is likely going to get the biggest return in NBA history. But, if you're a team like the Phoenix Suns, Mikal Bridges, you're already losing Ayton. You get, even if you have to throw in like Cam Johnson and a couple picks, go do that. You're the best team in the league. With Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant, you're likely winning the championship. And the Phoenix Suns have never won the championship. So it'd be the first time in your franchise history. That would be important. That would be significant. That would be huge. That would also be huge for Kevin Durant. Miami would give away everything. The problem is Miami doesn't really have anything unless the Nets can free up Simmons so they could take on Bam Adebayo. But would Pat Riley trade Bam? Bam's his guy. He loves Bam. All he does is hype up and talk Bam. There are many other teams that could come out of the woodworks for Kevin Durant. But in reality, he's likely going to go to only a handful of teams. So it's just which one of those teams are going to break. Because I think as soon as Kevin Durant is traded, within 24 hours, Kyrie Irving will be traded. I am that confident. I still believe it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Kyrie becomes a Laker. Lakers, if they have to, worst case scenario, which reports state that they are willing to ride it out with Westbrook for this year and then sign Kyrie Irving. Now, obviously, if they can get Kyrie Irving early, get Kyrie Irving early, right? Because LeBron's only going to get older. It'd be best to give LeBron Kyrie now. That way, especially going into the season, because then you kind of have this, they can kind of figure it out early on, work out all the kinks, and then hopefully you're contending and competing for a championship. But my other thing is when it comes to the trade, right, for Kyrie and Russell Westbrook, you do the swap or whatever, right? Why wouldn't Brooklyn want to trade Kyrie first? Because that's likely going to drive the demand of Kevin Durant. Think about it. If the Lakers get Kyrie Irving, then you're going to have several teams in the Western Conference that are going to go, that team is a legit contender. That team can beat us. We need to upgrade. So say a team like the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers get Kyrie, and it's looking like, they actually have a really good squad. Can we compete? We already lost to Dallas this past season. We underwhelmed. We underperformed. Can they beat? Are they really better than us? Yes, they are on paper. Anthony Davis, they don't have anyone to guard Anthony Davis on that team, especially because they're losing Ayton. So Anthony Davis is a huge mismatch. LeBron and Anthony Davis together by themselves should have beaten the Phoenix Suns. If Anthony Davis didn't get hurt, Phoenix wouldn't even have made the NBA Finals. Lakers were up 2-1. They were looking like they were about to go up 3-1, and then Anthony Davis got hurt. If they didn't get hurt, the Phoenix Suns likely lose that series, and then who knows what happens. And you just added Kyrie Irving to those two. You think the Phoenix Suns aren't going to be nervous this team is better than us? Of course they are. LeBron James is better than anybody on that team. You have Anthony Davis, who's better than anybody on that team. And Kyrie Irving is just as good as not better than Devin Booker. That's an absolute mismatch. The last thing the Suns would want is to play the Lakers, especially if they figure it out and they're healthy, which they should, because LeBron and Kyrie played together. They know how to play. They won a championship together. So by doing that, you very likely elevate the likelihood of a team like Phoenix saying, give the Brooklyn Nets whatever they want. We need to compete. We need to win a championship now. Chris Paul is only getting older, right? He's injury prone. All of that stuff. Why would you want to waste your time? But right now, teams know Brooklyn needs to move these people. And the hope is, much like Kyrie is forcing his way out, doing the best he can to force his way to the Lakers. The hope is that eventually the Nets will just get sick of all the drama and all the headaches, and they'll just trade him. But if I'm Brooklyn, you know you're trading Kyrie one way or another, or you're going to lose him for nothing. Do the Kyrie trade, get that over with, and very likely other teams are going to want to compete against the Lakers and not lose and get swept or lose in 5 or 6 or whatever. They're going to feel like we need to be able to beat the Lakers. How do we beat the Lakers? Oh yeah, we go get Kevin Durant. And then you're likely going to get a better Kevin Durant return. At least that's just what I would think. But as always, that's my thoughts and opinions, so I'd love to hear yours. Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think? Do you think this happens? Do you think it doesn't happen? Do you think Brooklyn rides out the season? Do you think that they just, play hardball, ride out the season with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and see what develops? And, again, if you win the championship or you make it to the finals or, you lose in a tough Game 7 in the Eastern Conference, maybe they say, we could win. Give us one or two more pieces. We can win an NBA championship here. Maybe they stick it out. I mean, I think that's kind of Brooklyn's hope. We ride it. If we get the offer we want, we'll take it. But if not, we'll ride with these two coming into the season. If we win a championship, maybe they stay. The problem isn't Kevin Durant. The problem is Kyrie Irving. Because Kyrie Irving is that guy that would absolutely sit out an entire season. I mean, he did it last year. Lost $17 million in a shoe deal. You think he's not going to do it again? Not just that, but he could easily just go to a doctor, pay a doctor to give him a doctor's note saying he can't play physical activity, and then he gets paid and gets to sit. I just think Kyrie Irving is going to be the headache. So why would you want to put up with that? Just get rid of him. And it's likely going to drive the demand of Kevin Durant. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, follow by the bell notification, stay up to date with all things sports, join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.